Good afternoon. It's Heather Doyle Fraser, and I'm here today for our daily afternoon pick me up. I'm a little bit late today. I was just talking with a client and really just having a great discussion with her. And so I am pushed back my time a little bit, but I hope that you guys will still be able to join me here today. We're going to start with a reading from my book, 40 Weeks, like we always do, a daily journey of inspiration and abundance. I just opened this when I came up to my office here, and we are at week 4, day 6, a time of opening, and week 4, day 7. There you go. Week 4, day 6. Harmony. That rapturous moment when two or more tones come together in blended perfection. I see harmony in my life moment to moment until it stretches into and over all of my moments. Even when the discord comes through, it cannot take up all of the space in my life because it's not what I want. I want rapturous, joyous moments strung together in a melody that defines my life. I choose to make the harmony and be an active participant. And then the next day, the facing page. What is your choice today? What is one small step you can make today that will bring you more harmony and alignment? Well, I like this one a lot today. First of all, I think a lot of people probably know that I am also a singer. I'm in a band with my family and a musician. And so that's why music analogies are in this book a lot. But we can create harmony in our life. And when those difficult times come up, as we've been talking about, for the past week or more, looking for just that one pinprick of light sometimes is what will get you through and what will allow you to see the harmony or allow you to see that place of rest or that place of softening. Last night, my sister did a song with this app called, I think, Mixchord, and she did all the parts and had all the harmonies, and I was so missing singing with her. And so I'm really looking forward to doing that with her, because you can do it separately and together. So that's what we're going to do. But I like the idea of bringing harmony to my life moment to moment and then stringing those together if I can. And even if the string isn't continuous, I can string those things together and look at it as a whole. And there might be moments of discord in there, and there might be moments where it doesn't feel so great, but I can move through that to get to the next place. And so on that note, see the music note. I'm cracking myself up here today, guys. I wanted to look at one of my other books that I wrote with my husband, Freedom. And yesterday we talked about the compassionate other. And today I wanted to talk about the compassionate self. So I'm just going to read you a little section. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Linda. Hi, Sue. I want to give you a little section. This book, it's in chapter 6, Help is on the Way. And the section is called The Compassionate Self. What is it? So, if the compassionate other is the superhero sidekick, the compassionate self is like the superhero self we wear under our everyday clothes. It's the best version of ourselves. Those superheroes often look like ordinary people from the outside, but they have amazing powers on the inside. Compassion-focused therapy, again, talks about developing and also nurturing our compassionate self. The 4 core qualities of our compassionate self are the same as most superheroes. These core qualities are wisdom, caring commitment, strength, and courage. Getting in touch with your compassionate self is a lot like an actor getting into a role for a movie. The actor first brings to mind the qualities of the character they are playing, and then they practice acting like the character. They walk, talk, and even try to think like the character they are playing. There have been studies with actors being placed into brain scans as they act out certain emotions, and we can see their brains change as they act out these emotions. Therefore, we can create real brain changes and changes in our lives if we practice becoming our most compassionate version of ourselves over time. We can practice trying on the compassionate self outfit as something we can do to embody this most compassionate version of ourselves. Imagining ourselves at our compassionate best helps us become more like this version of ourselves. As we bring these images to our mind and practice walking around like this during our day, we can imagine how this compassionate version of ourselves interacts with others. We can also see the detail of how they move, their facial expressions, the clothes they wear, their posture, their voice, and even the look in their eyes. We can also imagine that this version of ourselves has unconditional love and concern for us no matter what. The compassionate self has your back 100%. It can tolerate great distress on your behalf and provides unlimited support for you. We don't even realize it, but we unconsciously put on different versions of ourselves all the time. For example, we put on a different version of ourselves for our grandparents than we do for our friends. We can learn to put on our compassionate self with a little practice anytime and anywhere. The wisdom of the compassionate self. The compassionate self is the watcher or the observer self that has deep wisdom. The compassionate self has the ability to view thoughts as thoughts and not facts. That's really important because sometimes we have so many facts coming at us these days, and some maybe aren't facts. Maybe they are facts. Who knows? But we need to be able to kind of disengage for a second, take a pause, take a breath, use that compassionate observer, and make a decision about what we think about this situation. The compassionate self helps us unhook from sticky or difficult and persistent thoughts. That's those looping thoughts that we get into sometimes. The compassionate self helps us to take a breath and then maybe choose something different in that moment. Recognizing, where am I right now? I'm in this present moment. In this moment, I am okay. In this moment, I am not experiencing absolute danger. And there are some situations where you do come into contact with some dangerous stuff. But in most of the time, when we're looping in those thoughts, that's not where we are. Our compassionate self notices when we're moving towards or away from our values. It notices unhelpful, avoidant ways that we deal with unwanted inner thoughts and feelings, and it supports us unconditionally. The wise, compassionate self understands how our threat system influences the thoughts and feelings we experience. That's when we talked about last week our 3 systems, like the threat, drive, and soothe system, and how those systems all organize our thoughts. So when we're under threat, everything feels threatening because that's the lens through which we're looking. And that's when we need our compassionate self to bring our soothing system online. And we've been doing these practices, the past few days to help create that net and that foundation for us to help us move through those places. So one of the practices that I wanted to share with you today is practice number 7 in the book. And it's called Taking Back the Wheel of the Ship with Your Compassionate Self. So this is an adaptation of a of a practice that Chris and I learned from our friend Dr. Russell Colts, and he's at Eastern Washington University. And he says that we can think of our mind as a ship at sea. And on this ship, we all have crew members who represent different emotions that try to take control of the ship at times. So he talks about, sometimes you have this anxious self grabbing the wheel and then turning away from what you want to do in your life. Or maybe you have kind of a sad inner critic that maybe is putting you down, like that verbal tirade going on in your mind all the time. So these are these different selves that are kind of warring for control of your ship. And the compassionate self is the one who you want to take the wheel. So the good news is, with a little practice, we can learn to train the compassionate part of our minds to be that captain of the ship. And then the compassionate self can calm down all of the difficult parts of ourselves that try to take over our lives at times. So we are going to do this little practice of the wheel, taking back the wheel of the compassionate self. So first, I'd like you to sit in a comfortable position. If you feel like closing your eyes, do that. If you don't feel like closing your eyes, you can just continue to watch me. But the first step when you are doing this practice is to notice who is taking over the ship. And sometimes you might not be able to notice that right away. So I always suggest starting with some of that deep breathing, that soothing, deep breathing at a pace that feels good with your body. We call it soothing, rhythmic breathing. So inhaling for a count of 3 to 5, and then exhaling like you're blowing out a candle for 3 to 5 seconds. Whatever feels good to your body is what the pace that you should use. So inhaling and exhaling. And as we do this, we can hear that gentle whisper in our minds, mind slowing down, body slowing down. This deep breathing allows us to slow down, slow our minds down, slow our bodies down, and then that gives us the ability to bring that compassionate self online and to be able to be that observer, to slow everything down. So then you could notice, oh, maybe my angry self is taking over, or maybe my worried self or anxious self is taking over the ship. When we slow down, we're able to see who is at the helm, and it's not the compassionate self. So slowing down your breathing. Take your time. The more you slow down, the easier it will be to summon that compassionate self. Now, as we've slowed down, imagine becoming your compassionate self. Inhaling, imagine all of the traits that your compassionate self embodies. Wise, kind, patient, strong. So just imagine all of these traits, you embodying and becoming all of these traits, almost like you're watching a movie. Now, as this is happening, imagine yourself growing stronger and feeling supported from the inside, almost like you can feel this core of strength and support right through your body. Maybe you might even sit up a little bit straighter, or as you inhale, feel that presence coming in. Now, Pretend that you are the best compassionate self that you can be in this moment. You are a wise and seasoned sea captain. You know that emotional storms are just part of sailing. They're just part of life. And you know how to navigate them. You've got this. Now, imagine your compassionate self talking to your angry self or your anxious self. And you can say, you can be here, anxious self, but you are not taking over the ship because we are going somewhere that is important to us. You can be here, but you don't get to drive. I'm driving today. Let the other parts of yourself just come along for the ride. The compassionate self can calm the other parts of ourselves down that try to create mutiny at times. The compassionate self doesn't have to make angry self or anxious self go away. The compassionate self has enough soothing and tolerance for everyone and can hold everyone in a place of safeness. The compassionate self can choose to take advice from some of the different parts of ourself, but it doesn't have to follow it all the time. So be patient yet persistent with this practice. At first, it might feel like this is a silly thing or not working, but just give it some time and you will notice things changing within you. I notice that I bring my compassionate self online when I'm feeling anxious quite often. And deep breathing and imagining feeling supported and that strength within me definitely helps. So I really encourage you to give it a try, even if it feels a little funny, and just sit for a few minutes imagining that compassionate self embodying all those traits that are so wonderful and calming and supportive and beneficial, holding you up. And it's all within you. So that's what I am taking today for myself. I hope that it's helped you. And I am going to go out there and try to create some more harmony in my life and maybe bring some harmony to your life too. Once my sister and I get that mixed chord app going, and I will see you again tomorrow. I hope you have a good night.